Good evening. I'm Dr. Matt Sheehan from Medford Family Chiropractic Center, Medford, Oregon. And today is April 28th, 2020. And I'm in my house, like most of us, during this coronavirus gig, home gig. And for a while now, I have been thinking about doing a video or two about EFT for all our anxieties and fears and frustrations about this COVID 19 fiasco. So, let's see. This is just a dry run. I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see. Okay, so I could just make stuff up, make it about all our fears. Let's see. What would it be? A million things, right? I'm so worried about where our next rent check is going to come from, and our next, food. How we're going to buy food, how we're going to pay our utilities. Uh, I got laid off. Am I going to be brought back to work? Am I going to have to look for a new job? How long is this going to go on? How long are we going to have to wear these damn masks and be 6 feet apart from each other? And when are we going to be able to go out to a restaurant? When are we going to go out to nightclubs and be able to hang out with our friends and go to the movies? Essentially, our whole culture seems to be going down the shitter. So, any one of these things, and many more, obviously, we could talk about our kids, kids in college wanting to go to college, kids in high school, kids in middle school, elementary school. How are they going to get by? How are they going to keep studying and keep learning? Are they going to have to repeat a year? What about their socialization? Um, my relationship is going down the tubes with my partner. Um, yeah, that's just off the top of my head. I'm sure everybody at home has a million other personal things that I didn't touch on. But what I can say about EFT, some of you know about EFT. I won't go into it, deeply, but I'll just say that EFT can be a fantastic technique. It's an energy medicine technique, a tapping technique, where we're tapping on acupuncture points instead of sticking needles in them or burning moxa over them or electrically stimulating them. We tap on them like this, and they're considered acupuncture or traditional Chinese medicine master points. And by stimulating them like this with tapping, we can literally result in incredible balancing of our emotions. That's an esoteric way to put it, but essentially, in a very pragmatic, grounded way, what it does is it will help us to let go of any emotions that we don't want to let go of. And how we focus on the emotions that we want to let go of is by talking about them. So I would just give voice to whatever it is, in free form statements. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be done any specific way. As long as you're focusing your mind on what it is you want to let go of, it'll work. People who do it as their main modality in their careers say it works 9 times out of 10, and they say when it does work 9 times out of 10, you don't have to repeat it. And we repeat that. You don't have to repeat the technique. It's not like you have to do it twice a day in order to keep it going, like it's going to come back or something. It doesn't. You may have to tweak it a little bit. It may be a little variation on that theme that you have to go back and treat again. Treat that new, slightly varied theme, but it'll definitely be a little different. It won't be the exact same thing. So let's say we're going to talk about fear that I'm not gonna get my job back, or if I am gonna get my job back, I don't know when the hell that's gonna be, and how am I gonna pay all these bills? Okay, we'll do that. So what you want to do before you start tapping on all these points, and you can just follow along with me about the points, but you only want to tap on them. You only have to tap on them long enough to make a statement about whatever it is that you're feeling, and then you move on to the next point. Left hand, right hand, doesn't matter. Is it more effective if on some of these points that are on one side or the other, if you do both sides at once, will it be more effective? From what I understand, no. Pick one, pick the other, doesn't matter. How hard to tap? If you're thumping on the suckers, is it going to work better? No. Just tap hard enough to feel it. So what we want to do is we want to score our emotional charge before we start. So we know what our baseline is on a scale of 1 to 10. So you may want to stop and just give it some thought and think about your life right now. Think about what the emotional charge is that you have that is the highest on a scale of 1 to 10. You know, if you just think about it for a while and you list all of them, and then you say, all right, which of these seems to have a higher emotional charge? Pick one or two, and then pick the one that seems highest of those several. Knock the hell out of that one, as I like to say. Knock it down to a 0 on a scale of 1 to 10, or a 1 or a 2. If you can obviously get it down to 0, like it's gone, much better. But if you're banging your head against the wall and you're not getting anywhere past a 1 or a 2, great, just leave it and go on and knock the next one down. That's how I'd recommend people do it. Works the vast majority of the time. It's really fun. Okay, so let's say it's an 8, right? Arbitrarily, we'll say it's an 8 to start. And I also encourage people to check in and see where they're feeling that emotion. What does it feel like in your body? Most of the time, people can come up with a definite place where it lives, and it's usually in the head, the throat, the chest, or the abdomen. Rarely elsewhere for some reason, from what I experience with people and myself. And I ask people to describe it. So, okay, so you're feeling this fear and anxiety, and are they both in the same place? Do they feel the same? No. The fear I feel in my chest, and it feels like a constriction, like my lungs are constricted and I can't breathe. I can't take a full breath. And that's that fear, that's an 8. And what else? The anxiety, the worry, that lives in my gut, and that feels like a knot. Yeah, like a hard knot, like a rock in the pit of my stomach. And so, then I'll often play with it and I'll say, all right, any other descriptions for it? Does it have a color? Does it have a temperature? Does it have a texture? Is it hard? Like the rock one was easy, but is it hot or cold? Or is it, texture-wise, is it slimy or is it rough? Or, what's it doing? Is it pulsating or doing anything weird? Is it big or small? How big is it? Show me. And so you're really focusing on where these emotions, quote unquote, live in your physical body, if anywhere. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, people will be able to, bam, they go right to it. Throat's often a constriction. Head is often a headache or a pressure sensation. And it's often associated with one of the others. So anyway, so you just identify it, just so you know, because you're going to be looking for changes as you do what we call one round of EFT, tapping from here all the way down to the hand. Takes maybe a minute or so when you get rolling, and then so you do one round, and then you check in again, and you score it. You say, all right, it was an 8 in both of those. It was living here and here. Those are both an 8. Now where is it at? After one round, after a minute, most people say this. It's like the top of the roller coaster just before it starts to slide down the backside. They'll say, just it starts to come forward. They'll say, yeah, I think it's a little better. Maybe it's a 7. Really classic, right? Don't let that discourage you thinking, oh my God, it's barely even a point better. This sucks. This isn't going to work. Don't worry. Just watch. It kicks ass. Okay? So then you do another round. You tap, 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 go all the way through, talking about your emotions. And I think it's best to talk about them one at a time. Some people will kind of mix them up, talk about them, interplay them both, but I tend to like to keep them straight and talk about one at a time, whichever one's worse. Okay? So you talk about fear. You do a second round, and it goes from a check in again. Okay, it went from an 8 to a 7, then the second round. What is it at? Let's see, the fear was here. What's it at now? Wow, okay, 7. Wow, it's about a 5. It's about a 5, much better. Great, then you do another round. Often it seems to go down, in my experience, by like 2s. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but usually about 2s. So 5, maybe the next time, down to 3, and then down to a 1, and then keep going. You do another round, you might be able to get it down to a 0, where you don't feel it at all. You can think about the situation between rounds, and when you score, it's like, boy, I think it's gone. And then just what a lot of people will say is they'll think about it. You see them looking around. They're like this, and they're like, get this confused look on their face, and they're like, fear, fear, fear. What was the fear about again? They forget, literally, no joke. You'll find yourself sometimes forgetting what the heck the fear was about, and then you have to come up with the story again. I got laid off, or whatever it's called. I'll get called back, but I'm off work for now, and I was really afraid. I didn't know when I was going to get my job back, and where the heck we're going to come up with the money. And so you tell the story to yourself again, and you see, okay, am I feeling any fear when I say that? A lot of times you're going to realize, holy shit, no, I don't feel any fear. It's like I'm watching somebody else's movie, and you think about how you feel about it now. How are your judgments about that situation you're in now? Because not only do your emotions change, but your freaking judgments change too. And a lot of times you'll realize, you'll find yourself, you'll catch yourself saying things to yourself like, what was I worried about? I got this. Ugh, this is ridiculous. I know I can handle this. We're strong, we're capable, we're patient, we're creative, we're gonna handle this. We got this, no problem. And all of a sudden what you'll find also, as these emotional charges drop, your creativity, I know this sounds esoteric, but it's freaking true. I've seen it a lot of times. You'll find your creativity comes back. You may not have thought you had access to any solutions to this. You're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. We're so fucked. And all of a sudden you go, we got this. We got Aunt Susie here. She always said she'd loan us money. She said she's got our back. And my Uncle Joey over there, he said whenever we need a job, if I need a job, he'd always hook me up, pay me good money. Don't worry about it. We got your back. And I forgot I got that savings, for the kids for college. If we have to, we can blow through that. Whatever, I'm making it up. But you see what I'm saying. And you literally will have bam, 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 bam. You'll have all these things coming to you into your psyche that you had completely forgotten about or never had access to. Esoteric, yes. True, yes. This shit rocks. Okay? So there's that example. Okay? So let's try actual tapping. All right, here we go. Oh, God, I'm so freaking worried. We'll take anxiety first. I'm so anxious. Oh my God, all these what ifs. What if I don't get my job back? What if my boss goes completely belly up and he closes permanently? So this anxiety over my job. This anxiety over my job. You can just keep saying it a couple times. As long as you're focusing on the issue, you don't have to get fancy with it. You could just literally say this anxiety over and over again and say nothing else. It'll still kick ass, okay? So this anxiety about the what ifs from COVID-19, all the ramifications. What if I don't get my freaking job back? Or what if I don't get my job back for 6 months? We got kids. Oh my God, we got rent to pay. Food to put on the table. Utility bills to pay. Oh my God. You may initially find, as you're going through this, you may find your emotions going from an 8 to a 9 to a 10. It may go worse as you're really giving voice to it, because it starts to pile on. If that happens, don't let it freak you out too much. It's just the way it goes sometimes, but it'll get better. So just giving voice to it. And don't be a new ager and think, oh, I can't give voice to the bad part. It'll reinforce it. I have to talk Pollyanna and talk only about the good shit. No, that's bullshit. This doesn't work that way. This is about going right after it with a freaking vengeance. And what you're doing is you're bringing the issue up right in front of yourself so you feel it in your body. And as you're tapping, you're energetically, whatever the hell that means, you're energetically letting it go. You're cutting the cord energetically to that issue. So you got to go after it. So don't be a new ager and think, oh no, I got to ignore the bad shit. It's bullshit. At least for this technique. All right? So we keep tapping over here. under the collarbone, under the breast, where the breast meets the ribs, and the armpit, in line with the nipple, the middle of the armpit, about the middle of the bra strap if you're a female, and then the karate chop point on the side of the hand, and then the wrist point over here. And I realized I forgot something. I left out a big step. Before you actually start tapping, after you score it numerically and you identify where it lives in the body and how it feels and all that stuff, what you're going to do is you're going to say a positive affirmation just to get the energy flowing in the right direction. Because in traditional Chinese medicine, in general, most of the qi or the energy tends to flow in the meridians up the front of the body and down the back through these channels called meridians. And the acupuncturist will probably take issue with that. I'm not being very specific with it, but just cut me some slack. So up the front and down the back. But when we're stressed or freaked out, we have stress in our lives, the energy doesn't tend to necessarily flow the way it's supposed to. It can kind of go helter-skelter. So to get it to flow more smoothly, we tap on the karate chop point while we say a positive affirmation 3 times. No, we don't click our heels together and say there's no place like home or any of that other bullshit. Okay, I know it sounds esoteric. Try it anyway, okay? So you're going to tap right in the middle of the, karate chop point right there, all right? So you don't have to be super specific with it. This is a very forgiving technique, all right? So let's say in this case, we're going to say this. Follow along with me. This is the format for this. Even though I am feeling this anxiety and this fear in my chest and in my abdomen, when I think about having lost my job and all that entails, all the ramifications of that, I still deeply and completely love and, oh shit, I forget it now. I haven't done it in a while. I still deeply, completely love and respect myself. I think it's respect. We'll say it's respect. Love and respect myself. And I'm ready to let all this go. That's once. I'm going to say it 2 more times. Even though I'm feeling all this anxiety and fear when I think about COVID-19 and having lost my job and all the results of that, I still deeply and completely love and accept. Let's try that. Love and accept myself. And I'm ready to let all this go. That's twice. And then we say it a 3rd time, blah, blah, blah. Okay? And then you launch into doing the technique. You tap on these points. And these points, just so you know, you can find sheets on the points on YouTube. You just pull up YouTube and type in EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Type in EFT for COVID-19, for coronavirus, or for fear and anxiety. All that stuff, okay? Just type that in. What you'll get is, 5, 10, 15, 20 different videos by totally different people, mostly people who are doing it for a living, and they have a slightly different spin on it, but for the most part, they'll use the same points, and for the most part, they'll be saying different words, slightly different approaches, but overall, it's similar, okay? And it all works. Don't worry about it. You don't have to be a stickler with any of it. So there you go. Give it a try. And how many rounds do you do? From the top of the head to here? It really depends. You can just keep doing it. If you notice the numbers are coming down, 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 if you have time and you don't get sick of it, just keep going until you're literally at 0. This is called the short form. There's a longer one, pain in the ass. I've actually really never had to use it. So I don't even remember it. It's easy enough to look up though, if you need to. But give this a try and give me some feedback. Yeah, you can write notes at the bottom of this on YouTube here or Facebook, whatever. And let me know how it works, or if you have any questions, or you want to know how to try it on something else. Oh, you can do it for physical pain too. It kicks ass on physical pain. It's freaking amazing. Really is. I've had some patients with physical pain, and I was frankly too lazy to do regular massage and chiropractic and all that stuff on them because, I'm thinking of one guy who was a mountain of toughness, big burly dude, and it would have taken me 45 minutes of hand wrecking deep tissue work to even get to the point where I could start to work on them, and adjust them and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, screw that. I'm exhausted. Let's try some EFT. I'll tell you, I swear to God, it worked at least 4 times faster than anything I could have done using all my techniques of physical medicine, hands-on physical medicine, 4 times faster. And yeah, without having to touch the guy at all. And if I can do that, you can. It's a real no-brainer. Okay. So everything you're doing on the emotional level, you could just say you have right upper trapezius area pain and spasm. You just give voice to that. I'm sick and tired of this right shoulder pain and stiffness. It's driving me crazy. It's been there for 2 weeks. It's getting worse. I'm kind of scared about it. What if it gets worse? What if it's a tumor? Oh my God! What if it never goes away? Or whatever. Just keep talking about it. You'll notice the pain drops from that too. So give it a try. Cheers.